What is mythology?
A mythological is a collection of scared tales and fables of a culture known individually as myths. These myths deal with the human condition, good versus evil, life, death, and the afterlife and gods. They tell stories of our ancestors, the origins of humanity, the world, and the gods. They often feature supernatural beings and heroes with superhuman or God-given powers. What is spectacle? Speculative fiction. And what is its connection to mythologically?
Speculative fiction is the overarching genre that includes subgenres like fantasy, sci-fi, horror, and superhero fiction. Mythology isn't on this list because it is considered an even subbier genre of fantasy. This is due to the fact that a lot of fantasy stories have characters and or creatures that originate from mythology. So technically, it might be more accurate to say that the term fantasy and myth are interchangeable. How are they represented today?
The modern day version of mythology is comic books. What comic books specifically? By DC Comics, of course. The initial DC came from the company's popular series Detective Comics, which featured Batman's debut.
That's how it said. That's how they said to spell it.
And sequentially became part of the company's name. Where did the idea of superheroes originate?
If we take superheroes to mean people who have enhanced physical traits or a skill that is above that of a normal human, then superheroes would have originated from the characters of mythology. Every culture has their own series of myths, with the ones that are still prevalently used in literature, etc., being Greek, Roman, and Norse. This is especially apparent if you look at early comic book superheroes. As you may know, some of the earliest superheroes actually have ties to Greek mythology. Just look at Wonder Woman and Shazam, aka Captain Marvel. As I'm sure you know, Wonder Woman is the Amazonian princess, Princess Diana. The Amazons were a tribe of female warriors in Greek mythology who were very good at what they did, fighting, and were said to be men's equals in all things. I don't know about any of you, but I can never remember whose powers Shazam grants Captain Marvel. But I do know that most of them are from Greek mythology. Shazam is actually an acronym for Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, and Mercury. Solomon is a king from the Bible, and Mercury is the Roman name for Hermes. The abilities of theirs that he is granted are wisdom, strength, stamina, power, courage, and speed, respectively. So, who is your favorite DC character and why?
Well, I personally like the Joker because in a lot of ways he's kind of like me, but in many different ways he's not. What is not like me about this character, he is very sinister and full of laughs. I like the fact that he is a villain and not a hero.
Mine is the Flash, but not just because he is a speedster. I like that he is also a scientist, so he can come up with clever and interesting ways to utilize his speed. If you had a superpower, what would it be and why?
I would pick being invisible because I can go places without people being able to see me.
Mine would be the power to make pictures real. This has the obvious benefit of allowing you to literally have whatever you want. But I would use it to make having a job very easy, if not optional altogether. by which I mean that due to the prevalence of money in advertising, I will just pull it out of the picture. But what I would probably do is run either an indoor service or landscaping business for the ultra rich. Why is the chosen superpower different from your favorite DC characters?
My superpower of invisible is different from the Joker because the Joker does not have a superpower, and to be invisible and not seen, he does not have the ability.
If I had super speed, it would be hard to use it undetectably. So there would be no using it to make a job go quicker after lazing around or just working slowly at first for the money. Plus, if I needed a certain power, I could use the power to make pictures real, to bring to life a character that has it. So you could say I would have any power I or anyone else could dream of.